I got a crypto market warning for you. Serious meltdown action. Deaton says that the XRP Army is the reason we beat the SEC. We'll talk price action. The market's turning around because we're supposed to get rate cuts. Wait, yeah, rate cuts. All that is hinging upon one thing.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Buenos tardes, muchachos and muchachas. Now, the market's saying we're, yes, going to get rate cuts. 66% of you say, yes, we'll get rate cuts. There's one thing standing in our way. If it goes our favor, baby, I think we'll get them. If it doesn't, we're gonna have to wait. Now, before we get into the crypto news and the market warning, oh, baby, what a news day this is. You know the deal. You, the viewer, matter most. That's right. Bring your comments at the beginning of every video. Crypto Turtles hanging out. This is Klaus. Let's not forget that we have a deadline for our government funding to be approved on September 30th to avoid a shutdown. FUD will be strong. As the month goes on, expect the FUD to get strong. It's still early. Market warning, though. Jay Nurse says, yayo, D. Klauser, you're right. Gold is going effing mad. Diversity is the key. Yeah, crypto is risky. Shining stuff is boring. If you got some risky stuff, diversify it with some boring stuff. Kate Shuey says, I'm excited for the ETF approval. Same here. I don't care if it's September, October, November. It's going to happen, and we're all going to benefit. Going from 3 to 435 is going to be awesome. There could be some serious money flowing in with these ETFs, especially the spot ones. Now, what are you noticing up on the screen? It's the majority green. Look at ETH up 3%. BTC back to 112,000. Yeah, BTC is at 112,000, and we're not that excited about it. What is that telling you, everyone? We're starting to get normalized by high prices. All right, so now what's going on? Well, on September 11th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, CPI data. The Fed, Jerome Powell, has said time and time again, this is their one report they look at every freaking month that helps them determine if they're going to lower, raise, or pause with rates. They said this is their biggest thing. So if we get a super low reading for rates, I'm talking like juicy, juicy low, 2.0, 1.9, 1.8. If we get something like that, boom shakalaka girlfriend, we will get the rate cuts. Now, we get something high? Oh, I don't know about that. Here's the problem, though. It's that tariff stuff, right? If tariffs are going to stay in vogue, and, well, you know, Jerome Powell's he's been saying, hey, tariffs do what? Cause short-term inflation. So if it's going to be in vogue and cause short-term inflation, he's going to pause. But the market right now is telling us 95% chance that we're going to have a pause on the meeting the 17th of September. So think about that setup, okay? On the 11th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't worry, we'll have a live stream. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out, okay? We'll have live streams covering all this stuff, okay? On the 11th, 8:30 a.m. CPI data. Less than a week later, the 17th, 2:30 p.m. Again, he'll be on the mic at 2:30. Announcements at 2 p.m. Rate announcement. 95% chance that we're gonna get a cut. So, the market's thinking we're probably going to be getting some juicy data here. So that's the biggest thing that stands in our way right now is CPI data. So is the market pricing in right now a cut? Because if so, that's not juicy. $2.86 XRP with a cut, that's not juicy. XLM at 36 cents with a cut, that's not juicy. Now, ETH 4,500. Okay, I mean, that's better because, remember, ETH has been a laggard in this play. Crow starting to move again. We know the deal with Crow and the Trump family. Yeah, we talked about that a week ago. BTC at 112,000. Okay. We're kind of seeing what's going on right now. So, let's pay attention because in the upcoming time, short term here, we got two major events. And remember, after that meeting on the 17th of September, October 29th is the next meeting with the Fed for rate cuts. So we got some big things happening at the end of this year. But just like you said, we've got a market warning, and here it is for you. Congress faces potential government shutdown October 1st without compromise. Lawmakers from both parties have begun warning of potential shutdown because of the stark differences over policy as each side jockey to blame each other. That's right, it's all about the blame game, not the fixing game. Senate Republicans are pushing for short-term funding patches to allow time for a year-long agreement, but Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer from New York urges his colleagues to prevent Republicans from helping what he calls Trump move towards authoritarianism. Again, it's politics being played here. Senate Republicans must decide: stand up for the legislative branch or enable Trump's slide towards authoritarianism, Schumer wrote. This month will give us the opportunity to show a sharp contrast between our agenda and the chaos of extremism. Actually, no, we're talking about budgetary stuff right now, so if we can keep the politics to the side and focus on debt-related stuff now, that would be great. Here's how this is going to play out, okay? Safe haven assets like gold and silver on one side, crypto stocks, risky stuff, that's on the other side. Crypto, super risky, stocks not as risky. As the month goes on, if we don't have any sort of agreement, or if we're not moving closer to an agreement between the two sides, look at gold and silver garnering more attention. Look at the crypto market facing more pressure. So the closer we get to the end of this month, no agreement, crypto will get pounded. Now, think about this setup. If we get a pause from the Fed and we don't have any sort of deal with government spending by then, it's going to be a bloody, bloody September. But what does that do? Well, it sets us up for what, everyone? October to be juicy. October 29th is the next rate cut meeting. And then we would have what? Regs and ETF. Like, you see what I'm saying here? We're just pushing the juice down the road. But again, we've got some problems here because of government shutdown looming. Deaton's crediting the XRP Army for lining his pockets with what? No, I'm sorry. Deaton credits the XRP Army for its role in Ripple's legal triumph. Deaton has emphasized significant contribution to the XRP in Ripple's defense against the United States and the SEC. Deaton states that the XRP Army was so close to the shaping of the court view of the participation in this group, and it directly affected the course of the legal fight. He added that Ripple provided more than 2,000 exhibits in its defense. These included affidavits made by XRP holders, oral arguments in the amicus brief, which was represented by the voice of the community. He pointed out that some of these exhibits were even mentioned by Judge Torres in her judgment, showing the influence of the XRP stakeholders. Why am I highlighting this? Deaton needs to stay relevant. Why? He did not win in his Senate seat. Yes, Warren won, and she's still being a pain in our butts as I speak. And Deaton, representing 70+ thousand XRP holders, saying that the SEC has damaged him. Okay, again, Deaton career really being propelled by XRP holders. Now that the case is over with the SEC, what does Deaton have to do? Has to keep himself, what, everyone? Hot, spicy, naughty, and relevant. So Deaton's doing what he can to what? Give props to the XRP Army, because the XRP Army made him who he is. Did I say that correctly, everyone? Either way, I'm bringing it up because he's giving props to the XRP Army, because he thinks the XRP Army is why SEC lost. I personally think the reason the SEC lost is, well, wait a minute. Did they lose? Because didn't Ripple have to pay a fine? So technically, did Ripple lose if they had to pay a fine? Interesting. Right now, crypto volume is at $154 billion. I expect that to rise closer as we get to FOMC meeting. In fact, I expect that day it to go bonkers volume-wise. Fear and greed, we're at 42 out of 100. Altcoin season index is starting to slide up. Why? Because ETH is starting to frickin' roar, everyone. Pay attention to ETH. 55 out of 100 is a good rebound for the alts. You could also see the overall market here has rebounded as well. You're starting to see the market cap move. Look at this. We had some low action here. Now we're starting to move our way on up. XRP volume, fairly low. This is some of the lowest we've seen now, especially for a Wednesday, everyone. 4.69 billion in volume in 24 hours. Why? People are getting tired. You look at the 7-day chart and you're like, oh, yeah, because prices have been down 6 out of those last 7 days under $3. So the market is starting to get beat up a little bit. Enthusiasm is starting to wear off. The whole buy the dip thing is starting to wear off, which means what, everyone? The bottom is getting priced in. So Pay attention to volume, and one of the things you could do too is this. Zoom out to the 1 year and look. Yeah, see that big hoopla on volume we had right here in July? We're starting to normalize again. Getting ready for what? Getting ready for regs month coming up. Getting ready for rate cuts coming up. So the market can't go all nuts. So the market can't sprint 24/7. No, sometimes the market has to take a deep breath and recharge, and that's what you're seeing right now. People taking profits, people taking a break. Why? Because they know the juicy stuff is coming up. But we've also got some risk coming up if Congress can't what? Figure out a way to kick the can down the road and do what? A little bit of a spending patch. Yeah, a little bit of a gap stop here for spending. Way to go, Congress. Let's fight each other instead of what? Solving problems. Price action? Meh. 285. Nothing hot. This is the new friend zone. We know we can go above $3. We know we can buy sub. Meh. Friend zone. Price action. So we got a lot of forces tugging on the market right now. So it's not just rate cuts, it's not just regs, it's not just ETFs, it's not just gold and silver, but now it's the government shutdown. Yeah, add that to your calendar. So we're going to have all of this crammed in these next several weeks. So September is going to be a bonkers volatile month. And with volatility, what happens? Price swings. And what's going to happen? Crypto volatility. So be ready for it because we can see all sorts of things playing out. But what are you noticing? The volume's starting to calm down a little bit. And why is the volume calming down? Because people are getting ready for the spicy action. They're getting ready for either a rate cut or a pause, which could what? Send markets either or They're getting ready for what? Notification from the Senate on regs. They're getting ready for what? The government to decide, are we going to kick the can down the road budget-wise, or are we going to pass a temporary spending? But there's so many things going on right now that we're all waiting for guidance. And that's my job, to bring you the news on that guidance. So hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out, because I'm going to be bringing in live streams in regards to those events. So choo-choo what? Choo-choo biznachos and biznachas and blue-haired giraffes. Choo-choo indeed.